So we have reached the year 2025. And during that time, while we had a break, while I was on my days off, I was focusing on my self-discovery. A tremendous number of events have occurred. Have you gotten used to the fact that there are solar flares every day? It's a huge rift, some kind of from the portal through which energy is emitted from the sun, and some beings are sending us new impulses to enter a new era. And on top of that, a planetary alignment is approaching, which will take place on the 20th, 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. There will be a lot of events this year, and as you know from my previous broadcasts, the year 2025 is one of the decisive years in the fate of humanity, because it is at this time that we begin to approach the point when the sun will reach the peak of its activity, and if everything goes as planned, if humanity is ready, then around the summer there will be a powerful impulse that will help shift the planet and all its inhabitants to a new level of vibrations. It might even be a pole shift. I don't know, I can't say that 100% certain. Therefore, do you understand that the future is variable? I'm not predicting it, but today we're talking specifically about this topic, about those who try to predict the future. Today we're going to talk about the most important and pressing topic of recent days. This is a predictor. You might be hearing this word for the first time. Who is the predictor? What is it? Is it some kind of collective reality, a collective consciousness? Is it some kind of entity, or is it an alien or something? Let's figure it out. So, you know from my broadcasts and many lectures and from the courses I conduct, that every person, every moment manages reality with their intention. And the people who have power, they influence people and the planet. Aware of this, they strive to create a reality that benefits them, not you. They aim to establish a matrix of control and domination on Earth. The sum of these energies forms an energy structure, visible as an octopus-like shadow egregore, dominating many Earth structures. And if we take the sum of these energies, then on a subtle level, this sum is currently visible as a certain energy structure. It resembles an octopus, which, like a secret shadow egregore, has latched onto many structures on Earth and is starting to dominate them, including esotericists, politicians, and all sorts of different structures. I call this structure the predictor, and its main property is that it tries to ride the wave of the emerging active promotion of the fifth dimension. As the fifth dimensional reality increasingly penetrates our lives, the predictor is a structure that tries to control these energies so that the activated superpowers that each of you has, they are starting to manifest more and more. They weren't just dulled, but were redirected exactly into the channel that benefits the predictor. What is the predictor? How is it trying to distract humanity from the quantum transition and slow down our development? Now we will break it down step by step. And most importantly, at the end of this broadcast, I will tell you how to avoid such situations. We will guide you on how to disconnect from this field by the end of this broadcast. A powerful energy flow to destroy the field of the predictor in order to dissolve it. Because there are specific people behind it, according to my information, the predictor is not just a structure. There are secret orders on the physical plane made up of people who possess supernatural magical abilities. And these people, using old methods of black magic, create a collective field through certain rituals that influences the formation of the predictor. Moreover, they even sew up their own spells in the song, which maybe some pop stars sing, their own spells in the song, which some pop stars might be singing. And you might have heard this and wondered, what are these words about? For example, I can give you such an example. I used to like a song by Katy Perry because there were aliens in the music video. And there's a song called Extraterrestrial. Essentially, it's extraterrestrial. If you translate it literally and try to understand its meaning literally, then the meaning is literally, oh, come fly. Some kind of alien, fill me with your poison, pump me up with your toxin, I am all yours. I completely surrender to you. So, essentially, in the song, there's an affirmation embedded that allows the listener, by joining in with its words, to surrender their will to some entity. And we need to be very careful and cautious about this right now. By joining in with its words, to surrender their will to some entity. And we need to be very careful and cautious about this right now. The predictor is not just trying to control and manipulate humanity. It's trying to instill a sense of helplessness and an inability to influence one's future. The addiction to the need to seek news about the future. It's such a drug-like state. When a person tries to understand, oh my God, I'm sure about tomorrow, but what will happen? What will happen? How should I be? How should I act? And a person runs to all sorts of fortune tellers, to predictors, to fortune tellers, to people who read astrology, astrological forecasts. Why? Because they don't trust themselves so deeply, they don't trust God so deeply and their lives that they are ready to trust someone else who will tell them how their life will be. Can you imagine how bad that is? And this is the field of the predictor. Behind it stand real people. As I said, there are certain magicians who are not like standard magicians. Magicians like that are not something you can find on the internet. Some childish little rituals with clowning, you won't see serious people on YouTube or in other materials, because serious people keep themselves a secret. And when they do this, they are essentially trying to control this octopus that is formed on a subtle level. What does this global octopus, which acts as a global predictor, do to try to control reality? It stands on 12 legs. And the 13th one is in the center. These 12 legs and the 13th one in the center act as pillars of negative energy, which gathers like a funnel into this tangle. It is formed and gathered and also programmed by these magicians, of whom there are 13. These 13 magicians make up a certain order. But don't think that there isn't a counterbalance to it. There is, and the order of light, which creates opposing energy flows of grace, dissolves this negativity. And there are also 12 powerful representatives involved in this process. They conduct planetary processes and planetary meditations that can dissolve these energies. We will also be doing a similar meditation with you today. To dissolve the predictor's field, the main role of the predictor is to forecast the future, meaning it engages in predictive programming. It connects to the media and starts making information drops. Information drops that are meant to be picked up by people and blown out of proportion. For example, there was recently information that there was some new virus in China. Now everyone is saying we're all going to die again. Oh no, it turned out to be just a regular pneumonia virus that already exists. And it's no secret to anyone. And there's nothing special about it. There's no danger at all. The problem is blown out of proportion. And there are many such cases. But what worries me the most is this distrustfulness of modern people, especially those who are into esotericism, a deep, deep trustfulness. To everyone who broadcasts on YouTube, so when esotericism started to come to the forefront, especially after the emergence of many conscious channels, some are unconscious people, or those with deviations, or just selfish individuals. In order to make money, they decided to get involved in this process and come up with some sources of income. and a lot of different channels emerged. There are guides who currently exist on the internet, and they give interviews on these channels, and these interviews can be bought for money. Any person, even you, if you have money, it doesn't matter. Do you have any superpowers, gifts, or talents? Or did you just make everything up? If you have the money, pay these people. They'll promote you, they'll show you, they'll tell you, they'll come up with some loud headline. Wow, this year is going to be something. Everyone will see it. Everyone will know about it. And if, for example, I also sometimes use catchy headlines, but the information I provide justifies them, indeed, it's important. I won't just be making noise for no reason. In those cases, I notice that there's often just empty noise or general phrases. Just like everywhere else, you've probably noticed it yourself. Predictive programming in such cases is based on the following processes. People are starting to be subtly convinced that there is literally a division by layers of social development. So there are people who are supposedly more developed, more aware, and have more abilities, magicians, wizards, and so on. And there are you, ordinary people, who, for example, don't have this. So that's how they reason. Not me. I believe and always tell you that each of you has a powerful potential of a creator within you. No matter how old you are, even if you're a 90-year-old grandmother or a young man of 18 or even a minor, it doesn't matter. Each of you has an absolutely powerful potential within you because you are the temple of God and it is through you that He manifests. But Predictor, it connects to the egregores of consciousness, to contactees, conduits, and esotericists, and starts dictating conditions through them. And we often see that people are interested in black magic programs. Rituals? Even in our chat, people sometimes ask, oh, what should I do if someone among my friends or acquaintances is trying to cast a spell on me? Yes, do nothing. Just tell yourself that this doesn't affect me, it doesn't concern me. I am the creator of my reality, not they are the creators of my reality. If you understand these principles, of course, it's very important to understand them correctly and to be able to manage them. And this needs to be learned. I taught this in my course on reality management, where we explored all the laws of the universe and how they work. From the perspective of the quantum world, biology, biochemistry, and humanity, how can you completely transform your life? Anyone can do this, and many have already succeeded. If anyone is interested, I will leave a link in the description below this video to sign up for my upcoming course on reality management. I will be adding a lot of new content there, particularly on how to create your own abundance. Not an abundance of diseases, not an abundance of problems, not an abundance of difficulties, but an abundance of happiness, an abundance of joy, and so on. To a person who is engaged in this inner magic of creating reality, if I can put it that way, there is black magic, and there is magic. Magic is something good, sweet, and based on love. So, friends, each of you is a magician. You all have this magic. Be wary of those claiming only they can help. Those who try to convince you that you don't have it and that it only exists with them, just come to their sessions. They will cast spells over you right now and remove all your problems. Yeah, they just scattered. Everything is going to be just fine. No, that's not true. It's just PR. And many are like that. Performances on the internet that we can observe. That's also PR. So, people are asking questions. Yes, you can ask. During the broadcast, MK Ultra, is it related to the Predictor? Absolutely, right. There was such a secret program that was founded back then in the USA. Maybe 40, 50 years ago, I can't say for sure, so don't pick on it. It was based on attempts to teach groups of people to manipulate the collective consciousness. And now it's happening actively. These groups trained back in those years, including MK Ultra, what did they do? They trained groups of strong telepaths and magicians who are capable of broadcasting a telepathic field into space. And now, you might have noticed one small thing. Sometimes you hear thoughts in your head, feelings, desires, and maybe even these desires, thoughts, and feelings don't belong to you. It's as if it's someone else's, not yours. Sometimes there can even be aggression, some kind of completely uncharacteristic, uncontrollable. Sometimes there are some irritations that aren't yours. You didn't behave like this before. And these are just actions of the collective field. It's not scary. There's no need to be afraid. It's all fixable. And I'll tell you, just listen to me until the end. Yes. Again, we'll all die, yes. But no, we won't die. It's actually due to unawareness and a lazy mind. If a person doesn't control their consciousness, then someone else or something else controls it. But that's how it works. Either you control your mind, your consciousness, or the field controls you. And this happens not only because of that some forces are trying to influence. It's actually not that important. The most important thing is that with each solar flare, with each stream of energy that reaches us, it envelops the earth more and more, raising vibrations, ionized plasma. And this plasma transmits quantum frequencies directly into the depths of each soul. And naturally, a person's super abilities open up, such as telepathy, claircognizance, clairvoyance, clairsentience. But when people get used to living their whole lives without thinking about it, without learning to manage their super abilities, if you don't try to control and unlock them within yourself so that they work for your benefit, what happens? Consciousness expands, opens up to something, and in the field, what's in the field? Who lives next to you? Think about it. Maybe you've had moments when you feel that the thoughts and the flow coming to you, it's as if it's coming from a neighbor. It's not your flow. So think about this question right now and answer it, while I answer one of the questions in the comments. Yuri, please advise. And the predictor also controls the cards. Perhaps to some extent, but not by the tarot cards themselves, but by the people who work through them. How does it work? I'll explain why I speak so indirectly. Because it all depends on the person from the conductor. I can use them too sometimes. Yes, I have a collection of different types there. And if I want, I can use them, but it doesn't depend on the specific cards, it depends on the conductor himself. And what is the most important thing? Why do people take cards in their hands? Why do they take them for some rituals and divinations? Today is the 18th, which means tomorrow is already Epiphany, and according to traditions in some countries where these traditions are honored. On Christmas Eve, before Epiphany, people also do divination. The question there is why, and why is divination considered an ungodly act? And that's because people usually do it with what goal? To know the future. But the future is not predetermined by anyone except you. So when a person decides that someone or something is capable of determining their future, for it inevitably arises the script of the future. Just imagine that the future has any scenarios. It's like this book that's lying in front of you and you know that it has empty pages right now. And in this book, nothing is written yet. But if you want, it will be there. Harry Potter, just open it and there will be Harry Potter. If you want War and Peace, there will be War and Peace. Think about Master and Margarita, open Master and Margarita. So whatever you think you will open, that's what will be. But when you opened it, that's it. It will already be War and Peace. It will be thick, even if you're tired of it. Even if you don't want to, close it. But the book is already yours. That's it. You've chosen it. This is how cards work, how predictions of the future work. So if, for example, I use some metaphorical cards or even the same tarot, I don't ask and try not to question what will happen. If I need to understand a certain situation, I ask, what do I need to understand? A hint that I don't see, I don't realize how to look at this situation. To change, how can I guide it in a positive direction? That's when higher powers and angels can work through the cards and convey information in the context of advice. But in the sense that I control my own reality, the cards decide for me. So, forecasts and predictions, for example, Vanga predicted that the Third World War would happen and it would end in 2024. So is it over? No. That's it? So you can talk for a long time about predictions. Even the most amazing predictors, in essence, also partly work with the predictor. They are subject to it. And the predictor is trying to set a trend right now so that people turn to predictions and predictors. A real trend, a trend to pump up this energy more and more. To what end? To further amplify human feelings of incapacity to any of their transformations. Someone is writing in the chat, interestingly, angels know. And a smiley like that. What are you doing on my channel if for you, angels? No? In general, the concept of angels refers to messengers of God. So sent by God, if we translate it literally. So, the word angels refers to any high vibrational being from the subtle and maybe even the physical realm. And this high vibrational being comes with a mission to help to a person. So, angels can also be extraterrestrial civilizations and representatives of the spiritual realm. You call them angels, while other people call them gods, and some people call them deities. So in Hinduism, they are called deities. No matter what you call them, they are angels, even if you don't believe in them. But what about the biblical prophecies? It's very simple. Where did you get the idea that they are true? What makes you think that they were written by prophets? What makes you think that they have reached us in the exact form that you are reading? If you only knew how well guarded the secret archive of the Vatican is, where the originals of ancient texts are kept, and how they were written in the language in which they were written, maybe you would ask this question in a completely different way. There are correct predictions. What do you think? I believe that it's not worth getting interested in predictions at all. It's better to focus on your own reality and managing it. What do you think? I don't turn to astrology, for example. I'm very interested in it. I'm studying, but astrology is often confused with fortune telling, and some unscrupulous astrologers take on that kind of responsibility that directly dictate to people what will be, what will happen now, and so on. In fact, they make a huge mistake and also fall under the influence of the predictor, because the predictor also controls them. If an astrologer is a top-class specialist, someone who is truly aware and understands how everything works, then they will never predict any specific events. Instead, they will say that there is a certain increased probability of certain events happening. A top-class astrologer, someone who is truly aware and understands how everything works, will never predict any specific events. And he will say that there is a certain increased probability of certain events because the position of the planets affects us through the combination of energy that they retransmit, because each planet in the solar system, Jupiter, Mars, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Venus, and Mercury, they give off a certain vibration. And depending on their proximity, on their positioning, the nature of these vibrations changes It's like the weather outside. Here it is. If the weather forecast says, what will it be tomorrow? Rain. Why does the weather forecast say that so that you take an umbrella with you? The same goes for astrological forecasts. He doesn't say that predictions are all certain, that you will die. He talks about some turbulence that will happen. Take an umbrella with you, and that's it. And in this sense, it makes sense to study sciences like astrology without fanaticism, not to predict the future, but to be able to make forecasts about what times are favorable for certain things. And that's it. Like, it's going to rain now, so it's not a good idea to go on a picnic to the clearing. Imagine you ignored that and went on a picnic to the clearing and it started to rain. You came out of there all muddy and wet. Well, of course, it's not very harmonious, and maybe that's not what you wanted. In this sense, it's worth studying astrology. There's also numerology. Sorry for bringing up this topic, but I think it will be very interesting. Are you interested? Numerology is also, it seems, a predictive method, right? But that's not quite right, because numerology, just like astrology, primarily focuses on predispositions and signs. Our universe is encoded in mathematics, and mathematics is the foundation of all reality, the basis on which everything is built. Cube, Metatron, is a purely mathematical figure, and this mathematical figure governs the structure of the universe. And it reflects the purity of mathematics. When a person is born, certain numbers accompany them and indicate what traits the soul that has incarnated at that time possesses. So it's generally accepted, as modern esotericists believe, that a person's fate is determined by the stars and numbers. Astrologers say that fate is determined. The stars, numerologists say, determine fate through numbers, but that's not true. It's the soul of a person that, when incarnating, chooses the dates, times, and positions of the planets to incarnate at the most favorable time for realizing its potential. The dates, times, and positions of the planets to incarnate at just the right moment. When is the most favorable time for realizing its potential? That's why astrological forecasts and numerological predictions don't come true 100%, but they do show predispositions. They don't control reality. They don't take away your choice. And there isn't some book in the subtle realm where your fate is written. That's not true. You have absolute choice to follow the path that you can realize through your soul, or not. Or to take other paths, a million other paths. My mom practices numerology. If anyone is interested, just message my administrators and I'll pass it on to her. She'll do a numerological calculation for someone. Because she recently did one for me, she did it for our family. In general, she is not a public person. She doesn't really like it to showcase, but I'll talk about her. She did one for me recently, numerological calculation. She's a numerologist and a palm reader. She's a classical numerologist because nowadays it's common to see all sorts of innovations like the soul matrix and all that. All sorts of innovations. There's the soul matrix, all that stuff. Basically, it's the same as it was before, just wrapped up in a different package. Like the same herring, just under a fur coat. It's just wrapped up in a different sauce. Like the same herring, just under a fur coat. It's the same here. Even if the herring is under a fur coat, it's still herring. My mom works with the old traditional methods, and when she did the calculation for me, it was clear which numbers I have and which numbers I don't. And a clear understanding that if I don't have this number in my numerology chart, that doesn't mean I can't do it. That means I need to work on that number in this life. The quality of this number, and perhaps it won't be easy, but to develop it as one of the tasks. Mine was really interesting because she also showed some kind of forecast for the future. You might say, well, how can that be? But you just said that forecasts are bad. I didn't say it was bad. I was only talking about how the forecast shows predispositions You can choose to realize it or you can choose not to. And among the predispositions that I identified, it turned out that it is indeed. What I do is my life's work, broadcasting to people, working with them, healing consciousness, and the scaling that I will be doing. With each passing year, the Academy will open up and so on and so forth, spreading it all over the world, writing books, sharing knowledge, and largely with your help, because you help these videos spread. You write comments, share links. Especially now it's tough when YouTube is blocked in Russia. It's very important for everyone who watches me to learn how to bypass this blockage in some way. You all know a word that starts with the letter V. I'm not going to say it. A 3-letter abbreviation. TTT. It's clear, right? And you know how to connect it. And if anyone doesn't know, teach them. At the same time, you might just need to try different ones and see which one works for you. I'll answer yes to your questions. It's better to reach out to some kind of specialist and definitely not to others. Why? Because I can't recommend anyone to you yet. So what's the best way to reach out? It's better to consult a psychologist or to a tarot reader who has a psychological background, because mostly tarot readers, there are now a lot of them, a ton, an overwhelming number, and many schools, all sorts of them, many self-taught ones, and unfortunately, this is done for money, not to help people. So be careful, because this can ruin your life and your fate. Because if that tarot reader says something to you that's not right, what will happen? You opened a book, maybe something by Stephen King, with a killer clown who's going to chase you. And that's it, you'll be reading that book, a horror book, until it ends. What do you need such predictions for? It's better not to do that. I think that we at the Alcyon Academy, which I am currently, where I teach, which I founded, in the future we will create a department focused on teaching and working with metaphorical cards. There may be methods for tarot or Lenormand, but I will set specific conditions for the masters and participants. There might also be methods for tarot or Lenormand, but there will definitely be conditions that I will set for the masters and everyone who will be using these techniques. It's never a good idea to ask questions about the future. Exactly. A taboo, a prohibition, never, even if you really want to. Because the future is not predetermined. And as soon as you tried to figure it out, you took away your choice. So the choice is taken away and only one path remains, like the tram. And that's it, you just go along it like a tram, no matter what happens on that road. So you deprive yourself of fate when you try to predict it. Why does anxiety arise? Right now, when the boundary of the subtle plane starts to thin out, sensitive people like me, for example, I feel it very strongly. And I feel other people very deeply. I feel their pain, anxieties, and fears very strongly. And it's not easy for me to work through all of this, because sometimes I get overwhelmed by such a flood of other people's emotions, their energies, their thoughts, which can be very difficult to deal with. But I manage to. And right now, that's why I highly recommend engaging in practices that help bring your mind into order. It's yoga, it's that simple. Meditations and energy practices. Energy practices, similar to Qigong, involve building a biological field around yourself. Today we will study one similar thing together. I give you certain bonuses in each broadcast. And I really thank you for your feedback and your gratitude. I would be very grateful if any of you decide to become my constant sponsor. A constant sponsor who regularly receives some benefit from me, has this resource and believes that, what am I doing? It's a good thing for those who want retreat centers to emerge all over the world and so on. I really ask you to support me on a regular basis. On a regular basis, maybe after each broadcast, maybe once every 2 weeks, maybe once every 3 weeks, or maybe once a month. But it would be great if it could be regular and voluntary. Because right now, just yesterday, I was on the phone with my lawyers and we started the process of purchasing a retreat center where the first retreat center might be, and it could possibly be launched this summer. Perhaps among you are those who will go there this summer. So everything is in full swing for me. I'm thinking about you and planning the creation of these retreat centers all over the world. Right now, I'm looking for a place for the retreat center in Thailand, in Russia, in Thailand, in Russia, possibly in Kazakhstan, and maybe in other countries. So, by the way, support is very important. By the way, sponsorship. I don't know, maybe there's some magnate among you watching me. Whoever has the resources to allocate a substantial amount for the construction of the retreat center, even as soon as tomorrow. If anything, I'm ready to accept that amount with love and gratitude. You know where to find me. In the description below the video are the contacts of my administrators. Well, what if I allow everything in my life? The main thing is that there was some benefit from all of this. Why the gloomy clothes? Whose gloomy clothes? You know, a person has this trait to evaluate everything through filters of perception. It really hinders the ability to find freedom. Recently, I was meditating, and during the meditation, I deeply immersed myself in this state of samadhi, and there was a complete dissolution of the surrounding space, a dissolution of the sense of self, and a dissolution of the sense of the people around me. I saw some kind of being on the side like an angel, and just a complete cosmos around. And in this state of dissolution, I asked myself, what is all this? What is this? Where am I? And what kind of voice is this? The angel says, this is God. You are dissolved in it, like in the ocean. He is so close to you that you can't even imagine it. God everywhere inside and around you. But do you really believe in the reality of your illusions, in the reality of what you see around you, in these things, in these surrounding problems, life circumstances, the things you have to, absolutely must do? You believe in all of this so much, you give it so much importance that you just forget that there is God. Not just somewhere up in the heavens or out in the cosmos, in the stars. And right here, right now, in the presence, in the moment. It's more real than the illusions we create in our heads. And if someone wants to achieve this state, welcome to the courses. I will teach you. But right now, I want to share a parable that came to me today, because there's a lot. Recently, there have been all sorts of questions, and in the chats and in the Telegram channel regarding various topics, including my courses, and in the Telegram channel regarding various points, including my courses. And I had a voice message in a Telegram channel about what wisdom is. Now I'm going to tell you a parable. A parable that came to me just today. It's the most interesting, fantastic, and deeply meaningful story, so focus, ears perked up, and think about it. Once upon a time, there was a monk, a sage, who had achieved great enlightenment. And students from all corners of the world came to this monk. And there was one student with the monk. He came to the monk in the hope that the monk would teach him the great secrets of the universe. The great wisdom sat down and said, "Monk, give me the great practice that will allow me to attain such great wisdom as you have. Teach me how you attained it. Teach me." what I need to learn. Pass on your wisdom to me." And the monk says to him, "All right, student, I will give you one task. Complete this task until you attain wisdom." And he gave him the task. Until you attain wisdom? And he gave him the task of cleaning up cow dung. This monk was taken aback. To clean up cow dung. This monk was taken aback. But the student was taken aback. But he went anyway. He went and started every day. Disciplined, he would lead the cows to pasture and clean up every little pile of dung in the place the monk had told him. And doing this for a certain period, he got tired of it. He dropped the shovel and said, "How can this be? I came here. To the temple, I came to learn the great wisdom. What kind of monk is this? He's probably a charlatan. He just needs my money. He needs my obedience, so I just do the dirty work for him. This bad monk, I won't serve him. Am I really supposed to clean up after the cows?" And this student went to the monk to express his complaints. He came, and the monk was unperturbed. And he expresses his complaints to him. "Oh, you monk, you deceived me. You're a charlatan. You're nobody at all, and definitely not a wise man. Could a wise man really trust me with such a task? Clean up dung? What's so wise about dung? What could possibly be wise in cow dung that you entrusted me with it? You didn't give me any wisdom. What could possibly be so wise in cow dung that you entrusted me with it? You didn't give me any wisdom. Monk, I'm leaving you." And the student left his teacher. Many years passed, and as he got closer to old age, the student continued to tend to the cows because he had nothing else to do. The only thing he could do was herd the cows and clean up after them. He continued to herd the cows because he had nothing else to do. The only thing he could do was herd the cows and clean up after them. And one fine day, he remembered the monk he had left. He remembered that wise man and his task. And he decided to take the dung in his hands. He took her and began to study it. What's so wise about it? Why did he speak? Maybe he was right. He started to look at it. He began to dig into it, and it seemed like it didn't smell anymore. He began to search for wisdom in it, and he found seeds in it. And then he realized that even in dung there is something. He took those seeds out of the dung. He carried them and planted them in the ground. He started to water it. He started to fertilize it with the same dung. And when the time came, a beautiful fruit tree grew in that place, which fed him and gave him fruit, and gave him fruits. The question now is for you. What is the meaning of this parable? What is the wisdom? So come on, answer me. What is the wisdom of this lesson? Someone wrote humility. 0 points for you. What kind of humility? So it's about the deprivation of free will. It's actually a religious understanding, more related to Christian traditions. It's like giving some kind of punishment so that you are enslaved, like a servant of God. Was there a point to this? In order to humiliate this person, the monk assigned him to clean up poop or what? What was in this lesson? First of all, I'm giving you the answer. You're writing now. Write down your versions. Well, it's like finding gold in the shit. Yes. I mean, wisdom is not gained by the person who just listens to wise tales in their ears. Spiritual enlightenment is not gained by the one who just sits and listens to chatter over a cup of tea about what energies are coming from the cosmos, listens to chatter over a cup of tea. about what energies are coming from the cosmos. Yes, you can hear such things from me, but what is the wisdom? This is what really works and helps you in every session. I provide keys to self-development, including this parable, which is a huge, powerful key to self-development. But what is the wisdom? This student came to the monk, thinking that wisdom was in the monk, thinking that wisdom was in this person. And if he listens to him now, he will gain wisdom. But this monk is enlightened. He didn't receive this enlightenment from somewhere. He acquired it from within. By what means? Gaining experience. And it's not that there's no dirty work, as someone wrote here. No. The point is that wisdom is gained when you can find a seed that bears fruit even in a place that's completely full of crap, plant it, and nurture it. So this parable is an answer to any critics. The point is that wisdom is gained when you can find a seed that bears fruit even in a place that's completely full of crap, plant it, and nurture it. So this parable is an answer to any critics. Those who criticize me, including for not being as perfect as they imagined or wanted me to be. It's about how people make claims against others, to the world, for saying, oh, I thought you were like this, Yuri, but you're not like that, you're like this. That's it. You're not my teacher. I'm going to run away from you. Yes, please. But there are certain truths, practices, and a wise person. The one who listens, who seeks wisdom even from places where others run away. I'm not trying to say that I'm the only enlightened one and that everyone should only listen to me. On the contrary, listen to all, even liars, and learn. Even someone who is just lying or deliberately saying something untrue. But look at it like that student who looked at the crab, because no matter what is being poured out from that field of information, a wise person can extract wisdom for themselves. Look at it like that student who looked at the crab, because no matter what is being poured out, from this field of information, a wise person can extract wisdom for themselves and grow the fruits of your spiritual growth from it. You understand, right? So, it's surprising to me when there are moments, for example, in the courses, especially when someone makes a mistake in the text, or there's a typo, or something wasn't done on time because the specialists were busy, someone got sick. And when people feel some aggression and dissatisfaction towards that place, where do you get spiritual knowledge? So, essentially, this is an act, similar to that of the student who was trying to gain wisdom. You might gain wisdom, but only later, many years down the line, when there's no one left to learn it from. The monk gave him the opportunity to do it quickly. But the student chose the long path. Ask me questions. Our interaction is primarily based on the fact that I read the field, the awareness of the soul of each of you, and by deeply feeling your experiences and emotions, I connect with the soul of each of you. When we communicate like this, so closely and informally, I don't create any scripts. I don't write down what I'm going to say. I speak from the bottom of my heart to open your hearts. And so that this flow of light consciousness, which is now pouring over us like from a horn, abundance, didn't pass through you like dry land, and gave the opportunity for those fruits that are within you, for the gifts and talents that each of us has to grow, because we are all different and our souls are different. Some people's souls are like raw soil where you can plant any seed and it will sprout. Some people's souls are like a dried up desert, yes, where it seems like there's only sand. But even if you water it regularly, give it love and care, and plant seeds, something useful will grow. Some people have a soul that feels like a pile of rotten leaves decaying like after the autumn leaf fall. Yes, and it's hard. But we are all capable of helping each other with the support and understanding that each of us can give. So right now, I want to wish each of you to remember that only within you is where God and love are born. And you shouldn't look for it anywhere, except within yourself. The temple of your soul is here. The helper you need, the one who is supposed to heal you, the one who is supposed to save you. It's right here in your heart, in your strength. And now I am sending this to you with all my energy, all my telepathy, all my field as an impulse. Even if you're watching this in a recording, just feel it. Like some kind of energy, like a blessing. We are getting close to the practice with you. Now we will do it together. Let's do it this way. I can do a channeling for you because right now I can feel in the field present representatives. There are extraterrestrial civilizations. The Arcturians are present. They are telling me that there are a lot of changes in the planet's field. They need help. They are telling me right now. All right, I give the floor to the Arcturians. And now they will tell you themselves about what is happening. What kind of help do they need? We greet you, people of Earth. Now, I am transmitting information on behalf of the Arcturian Council 90. We are scanning the field of your planet, and as emissaries of light, we are transmitting to it the keys to enlightenment and knowledge. Our messages are unheard. A barrier forms between people and universal consciousness. A barrier is forming between people and the collective field of the universe's consciousness. It is based on energies of the Predictor, and on energies, a distorted attitude towards what is happening. Many people right now, even among those who study spiritual matters, have started to perceive information in the context of a consumerist attitude, to consume information like energetic food, absorbing it indiscriminately and without awareness of the truths of spiritual lessons that it carries. Communication, the key to higher progress. The art of this communication. Your lesson. Humanity right now is learning to communicate with each other and with the universe. But this communication starts with communicating with yourself. Now is the time when the energies are favorable to establish an inner connection with your spirit. to gain the ability for self-regulation and self-healing, managing consciously. Your future. When you take into your own hands the right to create your own reality, you free yourself automatically from the programs that used to take that freedom away from you. Your intention expands the horizons of what is possible. The fifth dimension is opening up before you, the dimension of the field of possibilities. This is what you call magic, miracles. When your wishes indeed come true, but there is also danger in this. If you are not aware of the laws of the universe, and if you have shadow desires, then they can, using your shadow will to effectively influence your life. What is a person's shadow will? Shadow will. It's like a magnet that pulls you towards things you don't want. You notice its manifestation when you say phrases like everything is going wrong. What you don't want is exactly what you get. Everything is against me. You get what you don't want. Everything is against me. Here we go again. If your thoughts often fall into this trap, it means you are not aware of your shadow desires. Those desires that your soul builds before you. And so you end up in a situation where a part of you is pulling you in one direction. The mind pulls you in one direction, while the soul pulls you in another. And you stay in place. Or you fall down. Open your mind. Allow yourself to believe in your superpowers. Allow yourself to believe in your power. And just imagine the boldest and most incredible future that you can possibly want to have. Everything you desire is possible. Do you want to be absolutely healthy? Happy? To have material abundance? To have spiritual abundance, superpowers? And to be free forever from problems and difficulties? You can do it. As this opportunity is provided to you by the 5D dimension, this is an additional dimension that is not visible, not audible, with a familiar gaze. But it is tangible. It's tangible every time you are eagerly anticipating that future. Your thoughts and feelings are the foam on the crest, waves, the energies of the fifth dimension. You don't need to search for it. It's everywhere, inside and around you. It is folded in every atom, space, and unfolds at that moment when you believe. Believe in your ability to influence the likelihood of future events. Believe that the event you have chosen is akin to realization. This is the truth. The energies that are currently coming to Earth help you to attain this state. And the old control matrix, guided by the Predictor, does everything possible to instill the opposite in you, to instill in you a sense of lack of abilities, to make you believe that you are the most ordinary people from whom nothing depends, that you are only capable of living within the confines of the matrix. What is this matrix of yours? Is this some kind of program or simulation? No. The matrix. This is the matrix of your mind, generated by your brain. Because everything you see within yourself is not reality. This is the imprint of reality being formed by your senses. Interpretable. Cortex of the brain. This is neither good nor bad. Such is reality. If you give into life only within the paradigms of the trained matrix, then you are living based on those choices that they are used to doing usually. What will a person do if they are insulted? If someone steps on their foot or hit them, surely you can imagine some options. Now try to imagine the most unbelievable option. Some option that is completely unimaginable. This is the hack of the matrix. Now, you can do it very quickly and easily. The most important is to act unconventionally, to make unconventional choices. Act unconventionally. To make unconventional choices in life. Unconventional steps and actions that stand out from the usual context. To achieve an evolution of consciousness, reset your brain's settings by starting to do things you've never done before. Break your old principles. And then you realize that you have freedom in your hands. The freedom of complete control over this universe and reality that you are shaping within it. We thank you for your attention, and we will continue to scan the planet's field. We will reach out to you multiple times to deliver relevant messages. Now we are leaving this space. My broadcast got cut off. How does it feel, friends? Do you feel the vibrations of the Arcturians when they come? They transmit through me. Their evaluation is not the truth, only love. The truth. Love, you see, it's also a certain feeling. Truth is just existence. Truth is consciousness itself. The very process of perception, that's what truth is. The very presence, truth, that's what truth is. Arts 2. In your previous lectures, You talked about the experience of the soul, what the soul needs for harmonious development, both demonic and angelic experiences. But what about the definition of material life of another person? Murder, what does that mean? I don't understand. What about interrupting the material life of another person? Murder. You know, this question always comes up. And what about those who are rapists? And what about those who are murderers? Yes, just like that. That's how the score is with them. You take a moment and realize that any experience exists in the universe. And in some life you were a murderer. Same here. Even just killing flower, that's still murder. Oh, you thought that doesn't count? Killing a mosquito is also murder. You thought it doesn't count? Killing a mosquito is also murder. You thought it doesn't count. Eating a cow is also murder. And there too is a living, feeling being. Eating a chicken is also murder. So what? The question is about awareness, what a person does and feels. Sooner or later, every soul goes through different experiences, both as a murderer and as a victim. And by realizing this, the soul understands for itself what it wants, what it doesn't want, whether it wants to live like this. What is that? Are all souls of earthlings bright? Meaning, are they born from the higher hierarchies of light? There is no such division. Are the souls bright or not bright? Souls that are born from the hierarchies of light or not? Because even the souls of demons are made of light. It's just that this light is dim. It has weak vibrations. But there definitely exists only light and the souls of light, while darkness, as such, does not exist. Darkness is the absence of light. But if something exists, it's already light, even if it's very dim. How to teach children awareness. I had a broadcast on this topic. Check it out, I have it. What does it mean, earthly souls? Those that are born on earth. So now we will do a little practice together. And after this practice, I will tell you about a few more points that are currently important. We are going to do a form of meditation together now. Are currently important. We are going to do a form of meditation together now. This will be similar to a planetary meditation. We will step into a higher space, and from there we will send a light impulse, which will, dissolving the energies of the predictor, we will make a declaration of intent to the universe, which will allow us to reclaim that power, that energy, that potential, which we have by right of our birth. Are you ready? Where can I watch the channeling with reptilians? Yes, I confess to you I had a broadcast recently, before the new year, on another YouTube channel. I'll try to upload it to this channel. Let's see how you will watch them, because my broadcasts mainly get views. If you start getting views here on the main YouTube channel, in the video section, I will also upload more here. I record my conferences with other people, which take the form of interviews. But that's how YouTube works. It's interesting that this can break the algorithms, and because of that, the channel might start. To start, to roll down the statistics, the views will start to decrease. So that this doesn't happen, wait and be attentive when I publish it, because it will be important to get a good number of views for those videos to be promoted. So, right now, you don't need to do anything special. We will do a small short practice. Get comfortable. I will give it now without any musical accompaniment. Place your hands in front of you and focus your attention inward now. Gently turn your inner gaze to your heart. Form an intention within that we will carry into this practice. This intention, we will collectively now say it silently. Do yourself. I am a free being, a being of the earth. I am in the realm of the law of freedom, will, and intention. I acknowledge the originality and primordial light. Light, its primal nature within myself. I open in my heart an unlimited flow of light. And now you begin to see how within you, in the heart, the gates of energy start to open, from which fountains and waterfalls of light streams flow out, spreading throughout your entire body, and the fountains and waterfalls flow into every corner, the most subtle, distant parts of the body. It spills beyond the body, and you are like a sitting waterfall, from which a benevolent energy of pearlescent color flows down, like water that shimmers with rainbows. All right, and now this light, this water begins to completely fill you up. And around you, spread your arms to the sides, and a field is forming. Golden field. Of protection. Only higher, only bright, high vibrational energy passes through this field. This field begins to fill up and be charged from within with the light that you have passed through your heart. Filling up with pearlescent energy and vibrations start to flow throughout the body. The body becomes soft, light, vibrating. And now you begin to feel the boundaries of your body dissolving, and along with this energy of light, your protection. Your entire being starts to rise up as if this golden bubble is rising from the bottom, starts to move upwards, straight to the cosmos, floating up from the atmosphere like a bubble out of the water. And now we call upon the angels of the highest light from the source of unconditional love, the emissaries dawning of light, and we ask them to help us in bringing the highest flow of unconditional love energy to earth. Absolute, original source angels, archangels, cherubim gods, devas, everyone who lives in the light of the Creator's unconditional love. We call for the high vibrational energy of love to flow through us onto the planet and bless it with the highest light. Extend your hands forward and imagine the earth in front of you. Imagine it and start pouring it out through your palms. These beautiful streams of energy onto the planet, as if you are seeing it from the outside. And now we call upon the violet stream, the energy of the violet flame, burning away all the old, unnecessary, foreign things. The violet flame of transformation that transforms all negativity into positivity. Direct the violet flame towards the energy of the Predictor, dissolving all black magic programs. In this, and now through your hands, through your body, through your consciousness, a powerful energy of the violet flame begins to flow out. More and more with each breath in and out, it envelops you in a benevolent way. And now, through your hands, through your body, through your consciousness, a powerful energy of the violet flame begins to flow out. More and more with each breath in and out, it envelops you in a benevolent way. The angels embrace you and place their golden hands on your shoulders, transferring this potential. They place their golden hands on your heart, opening it up and removing all the pain from it, all grievances, all blocks, all suffering. Along with the cleansing of the entire planet, your soul and your karma are being cleansed as well. By the grace of the energy of the violet flame, let it flow onto planet Earth and watch as this octopus on the subtle plane, this predictor, simply burns away easily in the violet flame. Just completely turning into nothing, dissolving into the emptiness of the cosmos. We thank you, energy of the predictor, for the experience you have provided. You are no longer needed. We dissolve you. Now I will speak the coded affirmations. You can simply listen to them and mentally join in. I am a conscious being, endowed with the power of the primordial creator, endowed with the divine will of consciousness. I call forth from all forms, from all incarnations, from all universes, my primordial pure energy. I gather my soul into one from all times and spaces. I reclaim all the energy that was spent and lost, and I gain the power of unconditional love in the moment. Now I acknowledge the presence of power within myself and the will of the Creator. With my power and the will of the Creator, I bless the earth with the intention for peace, harmony, and freedom. Freedom, feelings, freedom, thoughts, freedom of consciousness in all forms of manifestation. Activate the free will program to send the energy of freedom into the hearts of every person. Freedom is beautiful. Now we are pouring out the intention for free will. Hear and acknowledge this. Acknowledge this within yourself, every person. You are free to choose any destiny. Carp. It doesn't exist for you. There is only choice. Open your eyes and see. And we simply pour out the energy of pink and blue from our hands. With pearlescent shimmers, it fills the planet, fills people, their consciousness, and us. From this moment on, as soon as this practice is completed, its energy will continue to work, dissolving programs. I acknowledge that only I determine my future. Does not exist. No predictors or predictions that could decide the fate of humanity for us. Cancel all these predicted programs here and now. To cancel and complete by the will of the Creator. By the will of the Creator, by the will of all who participate in this. Cancel and complete all destructive programs of predictive programming with which the earth was enveloped. Launch the program of freedom, purity, and goodness. Yes, it will be so. It has happened. Right now, this field is gradually harmonizing. Direct this energy down, straight to the planet, bless it. Join your hands in front of you in a namaste and feel the changes in your field. What has your field gained? The changes in your field. What has your field gained? What has changed? What did you feel? Place your hands on your heart and thank yourself. Thank the angel. Thank the universe. Everyone who participated in this process. I ask you, you are doing great. You are making a great achievement. By doing such meditations, take a deep breath, tune into your inner space, and on the exhale, send a pulse of light down to the center of the earth and ground yourself. Feel the love for your mother just as she loves you. Mother Earth. Thank you, my friends. I receive it with gratitude. The meditation is complete. You can open your eyes. Here's a little practice. You can repeat it yourself. You can do something similar. It will continue to work even in the recording. If you liked it, if you want to support me in some way, find my details and support me. And you can do this regularly. This will help in the development of our academy. In the development of our academy, you can write about your feelings. So from the latest news, what plans do we have for the Academy for the upcoming year? The upcoming 25th year is going to be very eventful. Right now I have some small tasks that need to be resolved on a physical level related to business, with visas and all sorts of questions like that. So I might have to slightly push back the reality management course, which we were planning to launch on the 1st of the month. But the plan right now will be like this. Look, I have a course on reality management planned. Now I'll explain that this will not be the same reality management course that we had last year. This will be something completely new, because after gaining a huge amount of experience teaching people, I have already trained several thousand people in this methodology. I can definitely tell you that from this vast experience. There is already a clear understanding of how to convey this information correctly and how to achieve clear results from it, because it turns out that it's not enough to just know how to do it. It's not enough just to know what exactly underlies reality management, but it's important to teach specific keys, meaning to provide concrete keys. So right now, the reality management course, I'm reworking it and I'm adding information that I wanted to give in separate modules on abundance. So friends, what is abundance all about? We are used to living in such situations when problems, misfortunes, lack of resources, money, and so on can pour out from the horn of plenty. And that's not normal. It's not normal for a person to live in poverty, in suffering, in deprivation, in the absence of resources, in the absence of freedom. That's not normal at all. And the norm is then when you have everything you need to fulfill all your tasks and needs. When can you live wherever you want? When your reality adjusts itself to you, when the boldest desires come true. This is what the norm is now. It's real, but you need to learn so you don't destroy yourself. First of all, because in the face of the energies that are coming, it becomes dangerous to live in ignorance. It's literally dangerous. It becomes dangerous to live in a state of misunderstanding and frenzy. When you don't understand how to manage reality, and it's impossible to say this briefly, it's not enough to just read It's not enough to just read Vadim Zeland's books on this topic. Because they contain information, yes. But I personally read Zealand, and I realized that I was lacking practicality. Theory, that's all good, but it's important to train through practice. Exercises. This is what remains, as our teacher said, one that I had at university in response to the question, what is higher education? He said that it's what remains in your head after you've forgotten everything you were taught. And I had people who took this course once before last year, a similar course. I invite them with pleasure and delight to join a new course on the management of reality, because it will be different, and an important aspect is working on paving the paths. How to do this so you don't destroy your life with destructive thoughts and learn not to give in to this programming, including that of predictors and other people. Not to give in to this programming, including that of predictors and other people, and the collective field that surrounds us has become very dense right now. I also want to say right now that there might be a shift in the course because of that. The retreat, in a way, cuts through this course. So, it turns out that the retreat we have planned, I'll tell you the dates. We have planned a retreat in Thailand. It starts on March 12th. There will be 2 sessions from March 12th to the 24th or 25th. In my opinion, there are just over 10 days from the 12th to the 22nd or 23rd, and then the 28th, I think, until April 8th. So there will be 2 sessions of the retreat. I'll clarify the dates in the Telegram channel, which will be dedicated to learning not just about work, but some kind of transformation and healing training. I'm planning to relaunch the quantum healing course soon. Some have completed part of the training, while others haven't. I'll divide the retreat into 2 levels, and I'm going to break the retreat into 2 levels. So the first level, I will be teaching the basic techniques there, healing, at the second level, as it will be a small retreat. We've almost gathered the group, but I really want to share this knowledge in person. I will conduct it a little later. There will also be retreats that are more mass-oriented, and there will be more accessible opportunities to be able to go there in terms of finances. But now we've found a retreat in such a place that is a local hotel and not cheap. So right now there are only a few spots, just 17 spots available. And so whoever manages to sign up will manage to sign up. There I will mainly be providing training in healing. Well, of course, even if a person doesn't have the desire to become a serious healer, they can still go. It's still worth going through this training for themselves. But there, I will be teaching live the techniques that are now being newly discovered. It's still worth going through this training for yourself. But that's where I'll be teaching live the techniques that are currently being newly discovered. How should I put it? My experimental group will be experimenting with them because I will be providing energy channels that I haven't given to anyone yet. It seems like mustaches don't suit you, but why do you care about my mustaches? What's the difference? Should I show you the hair under my arms? Don't you think, is it strange to pay attention to that? You came here to discuss my mustaches. Leave my channel if that's all you pay attention to, and if you're discussing my appearance. What about the hair? Is it long? Can you tell me, my lips, they're not painted, my hair, it's normal, my hairstyle, it's normal. I have hairdressers. Don't say there are no barber shops. Don't you think that such questions, they just don't portray you in a very good light. This isn't the topic we're discussing right now. What difference does it make? Should I worry about leg hair too? Maybe I should shave them. Well, at least think about what you're writing. And in general, about culture. Think about it. Otherwise, You can write anything in the chat. I still can't see your face. It's shameful, it won't happen. You can't troll me with trolls. I can troll anyone myself. Which civilization was the first in the Pleiades? Lyran? No, the Lyran civilization exists later than the Pleiadian one. The Pleiadians originated there earlier. But the earliest civilization that appeared in the Pleiades was in the subtle realm and materialized from the subtle realm into the material one. So there are races that came from higher dimensions, and they didn't come from other planets. I want friends for you to, you wrote to me in the Telegram channel or in the comments about what interests you, because the topic of studying the civilizations of the cosmos in terms of their origins is also very interesting. When does the course on reality management start? I'll let you know the new date. It was originally planned for February 1st, but I'm currently reviewing the plan. If it works out, maybe we'll start in February. But since I plan to expand the course and add new knowledge on abundance management, we will be learning about that, including questions about managing money energies, money flows, because all of that was earlier. Marathons, wish making, all those marathons, wish fulfillment, it's all basically very bold and on the surface. Right now, there are such deep knowledge and practices that require some time to integrate. And you really need to give them time. They don't open up right away. Not right away, they open up. That's why I'm making the course longer now. Lectures were 4 hours long and intense. I fit it into a month, and it turned out that my lectures were 4 hours long. You can really go crazy with 4-hour lectures. So I will break them down into shorter lectures, more concise, with a lot more practical exercises, but less overloaded. Shorter lectures, more concise, with a lot more practical exercises, but less overloaded, and we'll have more weeks, so it will be a gentler course, more comfortable to go through, so there's no rush, less overloaded, and give more weeks, that is, there will be a softer course, more comfortable to pass, so that there is no rush, a crazy mad race for horses. Could you please tell me about our Black Sea? You know, I don't want to touch on those topics because they immediately trigger political reactions in people. Yes, I care about what's happening. This situation really worries me. I'm from the Krasnodar region myself, and I really love the Black Sea. But, of course, everyone can help in their own way. I help in my own energetic way, but we shouldn't blame anyone for anything. Any energy, criticism, accusations, negativity, it absolutely won't change reality for the better. That's how it turns out. Can you imagine, no matter what negative emotions you have towards those people who are responsible for this, those negative emotions will only poison your energy field and the area around the Black Sea. So just as much as the Black Sea has turned black from the oil, it becomes even blacker from the angry thoughts of people who crucify in their minds those who are responsible for this. They try to pour their anger and negativity onto them, but what good does that do? It becomes just as black from the angry thoughts of people who are crucifying in their minds those who are responsible for this. They try to pour their anger and negativity onto them, but what's the point of that? So any situation, like an oil spill, for example, you're at the Black Sea. This situation is a mirror, a reflection of our soul, a sign from the universe, for example, up there in America, there's a fire that has burned a lot of things. Somewhere there's an earthquake. What is this? These are signs. It's not just some guy who's to blame. We need to imagine that he's a sneaky creep. Right now, we would burn him at the stake if we caught him, yeah. They would put him on a pitchfork, yeah. No, it's a mirror that, like a sign, points out to people on a large scale what the Black Sea is. On a large scale. What? The Black Sea is like oil that kills animals. This is our black energy coming from the soul, anger, and bile. That nastiness that flows out of people, you think you don't have it. Yeah, even in my chats today, I had to put some people in their place because I've already spent so much time. I just hadn't logged in for a long time, hadn't read what was being written, so I logged in, started reading the chat, and I thought, oh my God, it's as if an oil disaster has happened in the chats, a spill of some nastiness and oil. So this is even among the people who watch me, among those who have even participated in my courses, some kind of nastiness and oil. So this is even among the people who watch me, among those who have even participated in my courses. What is this for? This is a mirror of the soul. It's not that someone specific is to blame, it's all attracted. To what end? So that you can see and realize that the cause of all this isn't some specific people who are, them, but it's within us. The reflection of our inner self might be that somewhere inside you, an oil tanker has also spilled. Think about it. This relates to us. Maybe somewhere inside us, we are also pouring this oil onto someone and we cause pain to others. Maybe we should start treating people kindly. No weapons and guns bring victory to anyone. There will be no winners. In wars, there are only losers. Weapons and guns don't bring victory to anyone. There will be no winners. In wars, there are only losers. The winner is the one who lays down their arms and says, that's enough. In wars, there are only losers. The winner is the one who lays down their arms and says, that's enough. It's time to make peace and come to an agreement because we choose life. Here are the winners. The one who understands this first wins. Because the one who fights, the one who is involved in all of this will keep doing it. And that's it. There will continue to be oil spills, fires, and disasters, and earthquakes and all sorts of problems. Right now, for example, you might know about 10 years ago, people were saying, about 10 years ago, they were saying, look, our Siberia, there's the Putorana Plateau, a very strong plateau. The most stable thing is that the whole world will fall apart. America will split in half, turn upside down. There will be terrible disasters. And so on. And they talked about how it was the safest place on the planet that wouldn't be flooded or destroyed by any disasters. This is Siberia. And now I have some information that you might not have heard yet, or maybe you don't know. It's because it's hidden from people. This is that Siberia is heating up a lot every year. And the people who live there notice the changes in the climate. The permafrost is melting and sinkholes are forming underground. Boom! Big sinkholes when the ground collapses. Literally. Holes are forming several meters deep. Why? Because it's heating up from below. And the scientists who noticed this from satellites, they say that under Siberia a magmatic plume is accumulating, which means a buildup of magma. And since the Siberian plateau is very hard, this plume is like a pimple that wants to burst out. And until it bursts out, it will keep accumulating, heating. And a very dangerous situation is being created, which could lead to an explosion, similar to a supervolcano's explosion. This is not a prediction. I'm not saying anything special to you right now. I'm just talking about what the scientists say. Of course, no one listens to them and they are ignored. And again, what does this lead to? This is a question about what it tells us about our soul, about how this energy accumulates inside us. And maybe we shouldn't keep it bottled up inside ourselves. This plume will dissolve. It will dissolve if we dissolve the malice, aggression, anger, negativity, thirst, and destruction within ourselves. Stop this in your soul, and nature will simply reflect the harmony that is inside you. Inside you, harmony, and in nature, harmony. People have known this since ancient times, living in harmony with nature. And this world is a natural part of existence. And it's not about the fact that it's time to clean. We shouldn't clean, we shouldn't pollute. Cleaning shouldn't be done through destruction and volcanoes. This is already a last resort, and with the help of your soul. Each of you can cleanse your soul, and the whole world will be cleansed. You know, there's this picture, a funny one, 2 windows, like, you know, at the Russian post, 2 windows. Above one window it says, "Who wants change?" And there's a whole outline, everyone wants change. Everyone is standing there signing, and the second window is empty. Who wants to change? Here you go. Think about it. Yes, association. Few people want to change, but everyone wants change. For everything to change around them, but they don't. That doesn't happen. There will be a planetary alignment, and what does it threaten us with? A very important question. The planetary alignment, now all the esoteric folks are just going to hype this up. That is trying to gather all sorts of things, views, planetary alignment. Wow. But partly this information is insignificant because the planetary alignment that is happening now in terms of the positioning of the planets is beautiful. Insignificant because the planetary alignment that is happening now in terms of the positioning of the planets is beautiful. But from an energetic point of view, it doesn't bring anything special. Well, I'll go out of style and won't tell you that it's something really like some kind of fear of God or not, something super important. Actually, it opens certain energetic gates, but the energy won't reach us, not on the 21st, not tomorrow, but somewhere around March, April. That is, in the month of March, April. There, if you look at the energies and the astrological charts, all the zodiac signs come together like this, and there will be a rare, incredibly powerful energy that is not just gathering, but coinciding in such a way that the strongest portals are opening up. Right now, maybe this planetary alignment will slightly push this process, and its reflection will only reach us in March, April, and I'll go into more detail there. In March, April, and I'll go into more detail there. I'll tell you in a separate video about what it is. If you have any more interesting questions for me, feel free to ask. I will be happy to answer. And we will gradually wrap up today's broadcast. Next week we will meet and I will host broadcasts with extraterrestrial civilizations. We will invite for contact possibly the Pleiades. We can even hold a vote who to invite, but the Pleiades will come anyway because they have a lot of news. And in this broadcast, I didn't manage to say everything I wanted to, but I'll go into more detail about the events that have been happening over the past month. I'll mention it there. So the last question I'm answering, Yuri, when will the healing sessions be? I'm also interested in that question because I have a lot of commitments right now. I think I will conduct them. I probably need to set up a platform for that. I want to try doing this on the Boosty platform. Maybe we did it on Telegram. Let's try to do it on Telegram in the near future. Maybe we'll try to do this in about a week. A healing session dedicated to spinal alignment. We'll try to organize such a session collectively in the near future. But it will be a Telegram channel and I'll be sharing links there. So if you want, find the link in the description below this video. You need to click on it, then you need to click again. Once again, the link to my Telegram channel will open. Open it, find it, and there. I'll provide all the instructions. Ideally, there's a desire for a retreat in Russia. I would like a budget option so that an ordinary person, an average person, living for example on 50,000 rubles, could come. I really want that too. And I'm currently working on finding land for a retreat center. If we can find a large enough piece of land, we can build a large retreat center that will fit. There will be quite a lot of people and we could make it pretty budget friendly so that anyone could afford it. I even considered the option of allowing people to come there almost for free in exchange for their labor. For example, someone could come and say cook in the kitchen and they would live there in exchange for their work, almost for free in exchange for their labor. So, for example, someone comes and say cooks in the kitchen and they live there in exchange for their labor. Just like how people live in monasteries. That option is also possible. So, in the future, I plan to organize retreat centers in a way that makes them as accessible as possible for any income level. So it all depends on the amount of money available for building these centers. Because how much does the land cost? How much do building materials cost? How much does the construction cost? How much do salaries cost for everyone who will be involved? The retreat center to maintain it minus taxes and so on. It doesn't just fall from the sky, it only comes thanks to you. If you contribute and support, then that moment is getting closer. If you don't contribute, if you don't support, then it doesn't get closer. Here's some simple arithmetic. Thank you all, friends. That's all I have for today. I'm waiting for you in my courses on managing reality. I'm waiting for you on Telegram. I'll leave the link to the recordings in the description and in the pinned comment under the video. If someone has YouTube blocked, use programs that start with the letter V. Go around. That's all. These attempts to take away freedom will. You know, a person who wants to manage their jealousy will find any way to do it. A person who wants to whine and complain will whine and complain, and there's nothing you can do about it. Thank you all, and that's all I have for you.